boo-hoo that will have you bawl in tears with maturity and sophistication. Guys, I don't know if I'm looking forward to this challenge. As much as I like my blacks, my grays, my whites, I like my color too. Just look at all these colors that I don't get to use. I have to go in here and purposefully pick out all the monochrome ones. Actually, this one's more of a brown, so I can't even use this. Gray, white, gray. And then I'll just filter through these later, because I don't know if I'm gonna even use these. Here are the markers that we can... No, this one doesn't count. Here are the markers that we can use today. What a mood. And then as for the rest of the supplies, these are all the non-color utensils that I could use. This is as boring as it gets. Oh god, this eraser has
been through some stuff.
And then for paper, you know, we could just use white paper and black paper if we want to. So here's our printer paper. Thankfully we have plenty of this to work with. I'm actually kind of sad because recently I got a new coloring supply. Let me show it to you guys. Here it is. It's another Sharpie product. I'm not sponsored by Sharpie, by the way. It's these like Sharpie S-Note markers, and they're basically a bunch of colorful highlighters. Can't use any of these because what a real shame. And for tape, I think we're in the clear. Get it? Clear? Okay, sorry. Technically it has no color if we ignore the Staples logo, so I'm gonna count this, okay? Don't
come for me.
It still fits the criteria for this challenge. I mean, sometimes I am in the mood to create, you know, monochrome art, but you know, this is not one of those days. So in honor of not feeling the blacks, the grays, and the whites, I think I'm gonna make the most boring blind bag that I have ever seen in my life, which should be easy considering I think I'm a pretty boring person. So let's get on to that real quick. So let's move these to the side. Let's first make the blind bag cover. Move these over here to the left. First, I'm gonna fold this in half. You know what? Since I'm using markers, I'm probably gonna need a surface underneath just so that it
Doesn't bleed onto my surface.
So let me get a notebook real quick. Okay, so I have my notebook right here. I'm just gonna slip that underneath my paper as so. And now we're gonna work on the cover part, which is gonna be on this right side. So I think the easiest thing we can start off with is drawing the dotted lines at the top with a Sharpie. Let's do that real quick. This is probably gonna be the easiest part of this entire blind bag, so I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts. Open here. Perfect. Now what? So I'm going to write the title in probably the most
boring
computer font that I could think of. And if you've ever used Google Docs or Microsoft Word or any just typing software, probably the most basic default font is Arial. So I'm gonna write the title in Arial font. Hopefully you don't fall asleep during the process of this. I would say my handwriting turned out well, but I'm not sure if it resembles the Arial font well. Wow, that's a really boring font. For the bottom here, I'm probably gonna draw someone bored. That's it. There's nothing else to it. So taking my black mechanical pencil, I'm going to draw my design. Here, I'm drawing a blob character slumped over a table doing nothing, even though he has 6 homework assignments due tomorrow. Totally not talking about myself. Behind him, I'm drawing clock hands and numbers to really hit home that emptiness feeling. Using a Sharpie and a thin-tip black pen, I'm tracing my pencil sketches. Now, I don't know if you know this, but boredom is actually related to procrastination. Imagine you're faced with a task like doing homework, for example. If you're a chronic procrastinator like me, you would most likely think it's boring, stop doing homework, and proceed to stare at a device for hours on end. And then once you go to bed, you suddenly burst out of your covers and be like,
oh crap, my homework.
You know, a lot of parents are like,
you need to put down your phone.
It might be annoying, but I'm telling you, they most likely mean well. A device can really turn a responsible person into a procrastinator quick. I'm speaking from personal experience. And with that, it's time for the back. I'm titling this page Key and drawing 4 boxes for the 4 rarities. How do I make this boring? Writing the rarities as it is pretty ordinary, but I wouldn't say it's boring. How about I just write as slow as possible?
Just to annoy you.
Okay, you know what? This is annoying me. Let's just write it properly, okay? There, that's the speed I'm looking for. And for each of these boxes, I'm just gonna draw little faces. For common, it's just a little smile. Uncommon is a smile. Rare is a bigger smile. And legendary, an open mouth smile. How exciting is that? Now, come to speak of it, in my haunted blind bag video, a lot of you guys reminded me that I forgot to put my signature. So let's do that right now. There we go. Final step, we just need to close this together using our tape and scissors. Okay, fold this down. Okay, tape. Okay, let's tape this first side down first. Okay, just like that. And then finally, let's just tape this bottom side. Just like that. And here's our cover. As simple as it is, I actually kind of like it. And as a matter of fact, I actually have some ideas as to what items I want to put in here. So let's move on to making the items. To begin our boring blind bag items, I'm going to make a book. Okay, I tried to find the most boring sounding book I could find on my bookshelf. Honestly, this book is actually not boring. It has a lot of wisdom that is useful to me. I just straight up don't read books in my free time. But anyways, I'm actually going to make a paper squishy book with the most bland looking cover that I could think of. On a sheet of white paper, I'm sketching a template for a rectangular block. Naturally, the next step is to cut my outline out as so. To see if I sketched out my template properly, I'm going to fold along the edges until I end up with a 3D box. Oop, see? One side's a bit longer than I wanted it to be, so I'm trimming that off. But other than that, things are looking as expected. Now, I'm going to need 2 of these boxes, so I'm using that first template I made to outline a copy of it onto another sheet of paper. Once again, I'm taking care to cut out the sketch I just drew, and once that's all cut, I'm test folding the edges inwards to check to see that our template is working as planned. So now we have 2 paper boxes. So how this is gonna work is that I'm gonna tape the 2 boxes into a book, and you can open the book to reveal a page from the story. Now you see why I made 2 of these. Before I do anything else, I'm erasing the pencil sketches with an eraser. Okay, so the thing is that I need to make sure to draw everything on the right side and on the right orientation so that I don't have to start all over again. Please don't let it happen. I'm starting off with the cover here with a gray marker. Oop. Wrong gray marker. Who knew I would become so picky over which gray to use? Anyways, I'm filling in 2 large rectangles with this new gray, which definitely needed high attention. I also needed to fill in one side of the templates as books wrap around the pages on one side, double checking to ensure that I colored in the right sides. Here, I'm adding some white to add some extra fancy embellishments to the front and back covers. And for the front, I'm titling this book The Life of Somebody, a story about some random person you've probably seen at a random grocery store or something. Just groundbreaking and original. You deserve a standing ovation, Meepyblues. Now we're going to flip over our templates to the back and upside down. Inside the book, I'm going to write you a page that will have you bawl in tears with maturity and sophistication. I know, there's no need to cheer. To the right of this poetic beauty is the pictures that go along with the words. There, that is exactly what I wanted. With our drawings complete, we can go ahead and make our templates 3D boxes using some tape. I'm sure I mentioned this in another video, I just can't recall exactly which video it was, but taping paper squishies is my least favorite part of making a blind bag. Sure, making paper squishies for blind bags is optional, but when I do, this process often takes longer than the rest of the blind bag process combined. Hopefully that really illustrates my frustration well. Enough complaining, it's time to stuff our paper squishies with some polyfill. Leave your comments down below if you make paper squishies. What is your most and least favorite part of the paper squishy making process? I would love to read your feedback. We're almost done here. All we need to do is tape our paper squishies shut, as well as tape the 2 blocks together on the long side. And here is our paper squishy, but we're not done yet. There's still one more item I want to make. For this next item, I'm taking another white paper and folding it in half. For this item, I'm going to make a cloud that will burst with something. You'll find out soon enough. I'm going to cut this cloud out. I'm also drawing a little face with a white pen. Boo-hoo. Now I'm just taping the cloud into a little pocket so that it can be able to store items on its inside. You're probably dying to know what I'm putting inside this cloud. Duh, paper stars, logically. Okay, yeah, it makes no sense, but let me show you how to make one. Take a strip of paper and first take one edge and tie it into a knot. Press down until you have this pentagon shape. You can fold the short edge down. Now with the long edge, fold it over around the pentagon. There are 2 sides of the paper that seems like you can fold over, but there's a little force on the paper that will guide you naturally to which side you should fold over until you have a little tab left over. Just tuck that under one of the nearby flaps. Almost done here. With the pentagon, pinch the 5 sides with your thumb and make sure the layers poof up. Finally, we can take our paper stars and drop them in. Tape off the edge, and here's our cloud. Now that we have both of our items, I need to make a bag for my paper squishy. I'm taking some black paper, cutting out some paper, and drawing this really weird question mark design. Oh my god, what is this? But you know what? It's the end result that matters, and we got there. eventually. Last item for this blind bag, the You Got paper. I'm cutting out a sliver of paper, folding it in half, and writing the You Got on the front. Now for the inside, we gotta choose our rarity. Uncommon it is. Now that we have our item, let's assemble. Tape off the final edge, and here's our no color blind bag. Despite my
incessant complaints in the beginning,
this challenge wasn't as hard as I thought, and things turned out pretty decent. But now it's unboxing time. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Meepyblues out.